All right.
Howdy, team. Thanks for being
Laura's
here. I'm here. I actually thought it was 9 a.m. my time, so I'm super glad that you texted me, Shelby. Thank you
All
so
good.
much.
I was just welcoming everyone and gonna give them a quick rundown of the agenda. So today, team, like I said, if you're a current client of ours, this hopefully should not be new information, but we're glad you're here. For all of our new nurse coaches, if you are in certification or you just graduated, this is the perfect place to get good information, to get the wheels rolling in your private practice. Just as a blanket statement, if you do not want to record anything or take notes, we got you. We are going to record this whole meeting. We're going to upload it. We're going to send it to you. All of the resources that we're going to talk about, we also will send out for you as well. So don't stress. We got your back. We know nurses love checklists and notes and all the things. So we preemptively put stuff together for you guys. But today we are going to go over our business basics checklist. This is everything you need to think about when it comes to setting up your practice, like legally and what that all looks like, creating LLCs, all that super fun stuff. We're going to go over how to create your first paid client and talk about our method that Laura and I have spent the past few years developing, and give you a few tips and tricks if you have any pro bono clients that are wanting to continue with you. We're also going to go over when you should hire a coach. And then also we're going to go over our program details at the end. So if you're curious about working with us, you have all the information that you need. And then probably the last 15, 20 minutes, we're going to do a little Q&A. So if you have any questions, write them down, or you can pop them in the chat, whatever is most convenient for you, and we will address them at the end. And as a quick introduction, because there's a lot of new faces on here, I'm Shelby. This is Laura. We are
Laura.
Two halves of a whole here at the Successful Nurse Coaches, and we have both been board certified nurse coaches for just about 4 years, creeping up on it now. We both have been in private practice also for about 4 years, and we both work full time as nurse coaches. This is our passion. This is what we want to do forever. This is our zone of genius. So if you are somehow got on this call without being in our Facebook group, make sure to check us out. Come hang out. It's free. The Successful Nurse Coaches Facebook group. We would love to have you. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Laura, I had my checklist here, but it looks like it got legs and walked off. So
I'll do a quick introduction, and I just want to also acknowledge and celebrate all of you that just graduated this week. It's a really big transition. And I feel like, especially if you're coming from the collective, which I know a lot of you are, because we're really prevalent in that community, that you've been in this 7-month bubble of support and camaraderie, and then you graduate and you start to freak out because you feel like you don't have that anymore. You don't have any video conferences that are on your calendar for the future. You have dreams. You're afraid they're going to slip through your hands like sand. These are all really common feelings to have after graduation, which is why we love to host this week, because we find that nurse coaches that jump into another container and don't miss a beat and don't wait have such a higher chance of getting traction and keeping the passion going for how you want to use nurse coaching in your career and in your life. So I just want to acknowledge all of you for being here. We're so happy you're here. And we hope that today gives you hope and inspiration, and actually really good information on what's important and what is not important, and how most new nurse coaches' brains think all the things that are really important actually aren't important. We're going to challenge you.
Yeah. All right, team. So I'm going to go ahead. This is personally what Laura and I find the most boring about business. But I'm going to share my screen with all of you and cover this really quickly. Can you guys see this form on my screen? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So this, again, we have this checklist available to you on our website. So don't ferociously take notes here. We're just going to quickly mention it because it is important. But this is the bare bones of what you need to get your business like up and running and started. So email and phone stuff. If you are not using Google Chrome, here's your official invitation to start using Google Chrome. I know this feels like a weird place to start, but as far as running an business where you do things online in any capacity, Google Chrome is your new best friend. So ditch your other browser for now. Go ahead and download that. And we're going to go ahead and just literally jump in. We're going to pick a domain for your future website. Notice I am not telling you to go make a website right now, but this is just a placeholder. And we encourage you to just keep it simple at this point. So if you're thinking, what should I name my business? It feels there's so many options. I want it to be meaningful. Both Laura and I's first businesses were like SK Coaching or Laura Menard Coaching, like super simple, easy peasy names, whatever the name of your LLC is. No one actually cares what the name of your LLC is. Where you can get creative and make things super meaningful is in the naming of your programs and the naming of your coaching. Also, the naming of your coaching is not a legally binding document, so you can change it at any time as potentially the people you work with evolves, which is also really common as new nurse coaches. So we encourage you to keep it simple. Stacy Smith Coaching or LM Coaching or SK Coaching, whatever is most easiest for you. You're going to pick a domain.
Before you move on, Shelby, I just want to say a lot of people ask us the question, should nurse coach be in the name? Mm-hmm. I suggest not actually having it in your name. And this is the reason why, because most people still think if you're a nurse coach, you only work with nurses. So there's going to be immediate confusion because this year in 2022, most people don't know what nurse coaching is yet. Now in 3 years, I think that's going to be different. But you don't want to start naming your business where people are confused right off the bat. Confusion is not what you want in marketing. So I don't suggest putting it in your domain or putting it in your business name. You can, on your website, in your marketing, in your programs, they're all going to know you're a nurse coach and that you're a nurse. This is just not the right place to put that, in my opinion.
Yep. True. And also it creates a little bit more red tape when you're setting up other accounts like Stripe for payment and getting business insurance. When other folks see the word nurse, they think that we are doing medical procedures of some sort, which is not the case. And it just creates more hoops for you to jump through. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that. You're choosing this name so that you can set up a G Suite account. It's not called G Suite anymore. It's called Google Workspace. Mm-hmm. We'll need to change that. But Google Workspace, again, this is where you're going to set up your business email. This is where we're going to do all this stuff. And what's important about this is that it is HIPAA compliant. There is a box that you have to go and find and go check, but you can make this particular Gmail account HIPAA compliant, which is important. We have you start here with your email because we want you to open up all of your other accounts with that email to just make your life a little easier and keep things separate. So here's the nitty gritty, team. You have two choices when you're setting up your business. You have a sole prop or an LLC. Most new nurse coaches shoot for an LLC. It is a little bit more expensive. It's a few $100 to get an LLC set up in your state. The process is different.
Unless you're in California. If you're in California, it's really freaking expensive. And I suggest sole prop your first year if you're going to be in California, because it's $800 to $1,200 a year. Just to have an LLC.
Yeah. California is exempt from most of what I'm talking about here, but Laura's from California, so we know all the things. Yes. But for example, I'm in Texas, LLCs are like $250. They're way more affordable. It's a one-time fee. Something also to keep in mind when you are opening an LLC or a sole prop, is if you need business, what is it called?
DBA.
Business insurance? No, not a DBA, a business insurance. Like if you need, some states require that. Like I know New York State does, and I'm sure possibly California or West Coast states might. But your county clerk office can clarify this with you. They are your resource for this decision. I'll speak quickly to sole props. Sole props are a like $30 investment to get your business standing on its own 2 feet. I started with a sole prop living in New York State because I was living there temporarily. And then when I moved back to Texas is when I opened up my LLC. So there's a couple ways to go about that. If you seek professional advice from a lawyer, they are going to tell you to go with an LLC. Just going to give that a heads up as well. EINs, which are tax numbers associated with your business. It's how you file taxes. Welcome to entrepreneurship. You get to file quarterly taxes once you start making income. This is a link for you to it takes you to the IRS website. I promise this page is actually pretty decent, and it's going to help you decide if you need an EIN or not. If you have a sole prop, usually your social security number is just enough. But if you go the LLC route, you will need an EIN. It takes approximately 2 minutes, super simple. You just apply very quickly online. Once you have your sole prop or your LLC, and you have an EIN if you need it, we are going to go to the bank and you're going to take your papers and you're going to open a business banking account. This is not necessary if you have a client that is willing to pay you today. You do not need this, but the sooner we can separate your life banking and your business banking, it is going to make your bookkeeper eventually that you hire very happy. So the longer you keep things combined, it's just going to bite you in the booty come tax time. And I know this is like, I'm even boring myself talking about this stuff right now, but trust me, this is important. It's kind of like a one and done. You set it up once, it's done forever, and then you don't have to worry about it again. You can get a business credit card or use a personal one to dedicate to your business for just ease. Again, the theme is separation here. Separate your business and your life as much as you can on paper. And then in the beginning, you're going to have just like a couple of little fees here and there. So your LLC, you shouldn't have any fees opening up your bank if you do choose another bank. But just a couple, like if you're going to be board certified and you want to sit for the test, keep track of that. If you hire a coach, keep track of that, but set up an Excel sheet or a Google sheet to just track what you are spending in the beginning, so you don't have to go hunting for it. Like I mentioned before, you're going to have to file quarterly taxes. However, you only have to file quarterly taxes when you are making profit. So this is a future nugget for all of you who are just starting to remember to file quarterly taxes once you start making a profit, which is usually 6 months down the road once you have paying clients coming in.
I'm going to pause you for 1 second, Shelby. For those of you who graduated just now in the collective, if you made any payments to the collective in 2022, these can be business expenses. So if you open even if you're not, say you're like, yeah, I want to open a business. I know I want to do nurse coaching, but I don't know when. Just go open your business. And then you can put any payments to the collective as a business expense. So it is really common your first year, you take a loss. Say that you hired a coach, you did the collective, you set up your business and you spent $8,000 or $10,000. And at the end of the year, you've had a few paying clients and you're still at a negative, and maybe you're a negative 3,000 for the year. That will be a deduction on your overall income. So it will save you in some taxes. So I think everybody should just even if you don't know what you're going to do, open a sole prop for the tax benefit if you paid for the collective this year.
Yep. Yeah, you cannot write off next year if you start your business then. It no longer counts. Okay. All right, team. Moving along to client management software. We love Practice Better. It's an all-in-one client scheduling, like you can send contracts, you can accept payment, you can do all the things through Practice Better. You can take notes, client notes. It is HIPAA compliant. It's all the things. It's actually built, I believe, for therapists, but it works very well for nurse coaches too. It's a one-stop shop. They have a free version that you can just set up an account with. Again, use your business account to create that account. And you can always change your email later. Actually, it's pretty easy, but one less step if you use it with your new business email. And That's it. Practice Better is its own beast. They have a great help desk. They have a great video on how to get your Practice Better set up. So take this one step at a time. It can be overwhelming for a lot of new nurse coaches. But just get in there, play around on the free account, send yourself a test invoice. And I promise this is easier than any charting system you have ever used in a hospital. It is easier than that. But with payments and contracts and things, you want to create a payment portal and connect your business checking account. You can see how all of these steps kind of play off one another. I encourage you to not do them out of order if you can stand it, but to kind of follow the flow of the sheet. You can connect Square or Stripe to Practice Better. They both have integrations with Practice Better. They have there's Square and Stripe. People ask us what we prefer. I've used both. Square is a little bit more user-friendly if you are not tech savvy. Stripe has a lot more function to it, but it just has a lot more nuance to it. They both work the same. Their fees are very similar. And to be honest, you just create an account through Square or through Stripe. And then if you connect it to Practice Better, you won't have to really log in there too often. You'll just be able to manage all your payments through Practice Better. All right. You're also going to need a Zoom account. So I think, Laura, what's the deal with Zoom lately? They changed their rules.
So May 2nd, they changed their rules. You used to be able to use their free account and get away with a 60-minute one-on-one client call. And now they will definitely cut you off at the 40-minute mark. So Zoom is about $14.99 a month. And at this point, if you're going to do any video conferencing, I recommend making that a business expense. Some people are talking about using Google Chats, using FaceTime. I just think for the ease of use and the functionality of Zoom and the professional appearance of Zoom, it's worth the expense just to get your account.
And I believe Zoom for the entire year, folks, is like $150. So it's pretty reasonable for what you get. And yeah, it does stink because it was a free resource before. But yeah, this is all. You can also connect your Zoom to Practice Better as well. And Practice Better will automatically send emails and send out your Zoom link. And there's a lot of automation features in that, which is super helpful. Another question we get a lot is about contracts. In our program, we offer you contracts that are written by a lawyer, so you don't have to search out and go find it. If you are wanting to consult a lawyer before you use contracts, I think that's a smart move. However, get your hands on a blueprint of a coaching contract and take it in. If your lawyer creates contracts from scratch for you, that's going to be probably several grand, honestly. And the less amount of time, the less that they do for you time-wise, it's going to be cheaper. So we give you a pretty basic, easy blueprint that we use in our practice. And then if you want to take that to a friend that's a lawyer or hire a lawyer to review those for you, you totally can. All right, team. And this is a checklist related to Practice Better. This will make more sense once you're like in it. We're not going to cover this particular part today. Anything you want to add, Laura, before we switch gears?
Yeah, I think I want to just add on the attorney thing and just give a general overview of what I see with nurses. We all have some form of PTSD from being told to CYA our entire career. So the fear of doing something wrong, doing something out of scope, getting in trouble is so big. And just know that it's a lot safer than your brain is going to tell you. And I'm not against attorneys, but we've had so many nurse coaches go to attorneys who have no freaking clue what nurse coaching is. And then they leave spending thousands of dollars being even more scared. We have health coaches and life coaches and money coaches and spiritual coaches and coaches all over this country operating with very little litigiousness. And nurse coaching fits more into the coaching industry than it does into the nursing industry at this time. So I just want, there's nothing wrong with having an attorney look over your contract to make sure you feel safe, but just know that we have lots of clients using our templates that are doing just fine. And depending on the type of coaching you're doing, it's a very, very, very low risk. So I wanted to give you that if your heart's pitter-pattering and that fear of getting sued or doing something wrong is starting to come up.
Yeah, totally. And if you're ever worried that a client is going to sue you, you just don't take them on as a client. We are in control of who we serve here, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
All right, team. So deep breath. I know that was like the most boring part. We're going to get into the good stuff here. We're going to go to next of how to create your first paid client. Like I kind of shared briefly before, this is our method. This is what we use with our clients. This is something that we've spent 4 years, almost 100 grand developing. And we know what works best in the beginning. Nurse coaches don't want to feel salesy. They don't want to feel gross. They don't want to send hey girl messages on Facebook. They want to be able to express themselves authentically. They want to be able to connect with people deeply and be able to serve them. And that is what we really, really lean into with our method. So we are going to cover the first 2 steps of our method today. If you want a full deep dive on all the steps of our method, how to set up calls, how to do a proposal, Laura actually did a really excellent episode on our podcast. It's episode 6 of the Successful Nurse Coaches podcast. So go over there and check it out for the remaining steps. But we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive in the first 2 steps today, because that is where most of you are at in the process. And just as a big caveat, like what I'm about to tell you isn't going to blow your mind. It is simple on purpose. There is no magic tricks. There is no sales gimmicks. There's no marketing magic pill. We really believe in the art of connection and the art of service. And if you've gone through a certification, you know how powerful that can be. Spending an hour with someone can change their life. So Laura, if you don't mind talking about connecting and inviting,
Sure.
we can jump into it.
Yeah. So first I want to, before I even jump right into our method and how we start, which is connecting and inviting, are the first 2 steps of our method. I'm going to share with what I felt and thought when I graduated. So I thought when I graduated, this is what I was going to do. I was going to get a really fancy website. I was going to get a really snazzy domain name that was somehow the domain name was going to create clients because it was so special and so perfect. I thought that if I put flyers around in my neighborhood and I put myself on Google as a business, that I could just sit at my desk and that clients would come because they'd be so excited that a nurse coach was open in town. That is not the reality, you guys. This is not the reality at all. I want to burst bubbles, but this will make these next 2 steps make more sense. 95% of your clients your first year will come because you invited them. They will not come to you. So we have to go to them and invite them to experience nurse coaching. We can't just say, hey, I'm open, I'm awesome, me, I'm so great, come to me, because no one will come. So connecting is what we do everywhere. We do it with our clients, we do it with our neighbors, we do it with people everywhere. We connect with people we don't know. And maybe we reconnect with people that we do know, with acquaintances, with people that are aware of what we're doing. Connecting can be done in person or can be done virtually or online. And most successful nurse coaches do a combination of both. And so just by a show of hands, I know many people don't have their videos on, but how many of you are really wanting to focus more on in-person local connecting, not online? Okay, that's what I did. Cool. Okay, so we have quite a few. Good news is that's how I started, and I did well my first year. We have a client, Barbie, who's wonderful, who does no online connecting at all. And I think she had a $20,000 month in January, her second year. So it can absolutely be done. Don't feel like you have to be a wizard on Facebook or Instagram or have a YouTube channel or a podcast, or all of that is that noise. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. You can just do authentic belly to belly connecting in your community. Now, I'll kind of share some ideas about that. Like, how do you do that? When we talk to people, we don't talk about us, okay? We don't talk about how great we are, that we're a nurse, we have so much experience, me, I'm so great, I can help you because I'm special and I have this cert, and it's not about us. It's always about our client. And so I'll give you an example of an in-person connection that can work. say that you go to get your hair done at your hairdresser and you decide to offer your hairdresser a powerful conversation. You say, you know what, I'm launching my business. I would love to let you experience my coaching so that maybe you could refer somebody. You can kind of see what I do. And then if you ever have anyone having a hard time with XYZ, you can refer them. So what you would say is, yeah, I just opened my coaching practice. It's experiential and I'm offering free coaching calls to my community. I'd love to offer you one. Not unlike what you guys did in your certification when trying to find pro bono clients. This is a continuation of that, but instead of offering them 4 sessions or 5 sessions, you're going to offer them 2 sessions. This is where you're going to get all your first clients. We know that coaching is experiential. It's very difficult to describe what we do in a way that has the impact that we know it deserves. The best way that we can start our practice is to get as many pro bono calls on our calendar as possible. I don't care who they are. Don't worry about your niche yet. It's anybody that says yes and will sit in front of you gets a session at this point. Okay. If you listen to the podcast, you're going to learn more about what we do on the second powerful conversation and in the first powerful conversation, but we're just going to talk about connecting and inviting. So we connect with people that we know, leaders in our community, and then we invite them into experience coaching. We ask them about them. If somebody in passing tells you, oh, it's summer's coming and my bikini's not going to fit and is complaining, go, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I do. I help people lose weight in a way that feels really good for them. And I'd love to offer you a free session. No strings attached. If you want to pay me, just refer somebody to me in the future that would need my kind of support. That's really what in-person connecting is going to look like. In our programs, we go a lot deeper into this. This is a very high overview of that way. The other way to connect is online and with all the different social media platforms. And you can do both. And I think that we should do both if you're open to it, because you might as well. It's more people seeing what you're doing. And in online connecting, we walk you through your identity change. Okay. If you're going to be connecting with people online, your new identity is not an ICU nurse. It's not a PACU nurse. It's just not going to be your identity anymore. Your new identity is nurse coach. So we go through changing your profiles, introducing yourself, and we walk you through doing a coming out post, which many of you have done. Even this week, like I just did this thing, I graduated, I'm so excited. This is a natural time for you to go ahead and do a coming out post. So first, like a lighthouse, we begin to tell people, this is what I do, this is who I am. So we have that identity. And then we begin to invite people through Messenger or write in our posts in the same way, experience a coaching call with us. That was a lot in a small amount of time. Do you want to, Shelby started her business all online. So Shelby, I'll defer to you on getting started doing it all virtually.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Laura and I did completely solo practices in the beginning. We have not been partnered since the very, very get-go of our nurse coaching journey, but Laura started in person and I started online. And it was important to me to have an online based business. My husband was a captain in the Army at the time. We moved often and unpredictably. So I needed to be able to pick up my life and go. Also, I had a newborn at the time, and just the idea of like finding someone to take care of her in a state that I didn't really know anybody was like too overwhelming for me. So I having an online business was like the solution to a lot of my problems at the time. And I think that there is a lot of shoulds in the online world. I should have an Instagram following of more than 1,000 people before I sign clients. I should be posting every day. I should only post professional pictures. I should this, that, and the other. And what I find for myself and what I find for my clients who also prioritize their online connecting is that the more authentic and real that you are online gets you, it's a deeper connection than like surface level BS, right? So a lot of our online coaches are also really excellent storytellers. They are not opening up their lives in such a way that everybody knows what's going on, every high and low, every moment of the day. But they have an ability to tell a story and to be able to connect with people. And when people read their posts, they're like, oh, that's me too. Like, she's so real and vulnerable. But she also has it together in ways that I don't. And I'm curious about what she's doing in her life and in her world. And now they reach out, which is really cool. I also don't think that you have to post every single day. Like, you just don't. I personally don't. I think last year I posted 12 times on my personal page, honestly. And that is different than when I first started my business. When I first started my business, I was posting more often. I was posting very intentionally to call a certain type of client in. But now that my business has legs and it has traction, I don't have to show up in the same capacity online, which is also really nice too. The referrals, which is also something that we intentionally cultivate over time, is your referral network, do eventually take place of Facebook posts and Instagram posts and any sort of online strategy. So I think in the beginning, right, whether it's in person or online, you are looking to connect and let as many people know what you're up to, and inviting them straight into a conversation with you if it feels in alignment. So don't overcomplicate this part. It's really easy to get lost in the sauce. It's really easy to get lost in, ooh, what should I say? Or what's my elevator pitch? Or what are all these things? What's my niche? To be honest, folks, it's not important yet. Do you know someone in your life that could use some support? Do you have a pro bono client where the work felt incomplete? Do you know anybody that you could offer a free session to that's just going through it? Life is super tough right now. Reach out to them and offer them a session. Like, that is the essence of what we're trying to get across here. You do not need a website. You do not need, you don't need business cards. You don't need a flyer. You don't need any of that to reach out to people that you potentially know and offer to spend time with them. And kind of in that same vein, I want to be very clear, very, very clear on what you should not be spending your time on right now. And I'm going to say it again. Websites, don't spend your time on a website. Don't make me sing about it, because it's generally the biggest time suck for a lot of new nurse coaches. And I'll explain why we feel so passionately about this. Well, I did. Laura, I don't know how much you spent on your first website, but I had a friend do my first website. I still spent about $800 on it, of money I genuinely didn't have at the time. And I didn't have any clarity at all on who I wanted to work with. Zero. I had no idea what problem I wanted to solve. I had no idea. I had no identity as a coach whatsoever. And what I needed at the time was to actually work with people to cultivate that, so that I would have something to put on my website.
Yeah.
And instead, my website designer, she actually did a pretty good job for me, not knowing anything at all. But my website didn't feel authentic to me after 6 months in. And I never got a lead from that website. Nothing ever happened with that website. And my coach at the time told me, do not get a website, and I did it anyway. So I know that some of you will also choose to do that, and that is okay. But just know, this is not the place to be spending your time for the first 4 to 5 months.
No, it is truly an online business card. That is all that it is, that you can show to the people that you reach out to and connect to. That is it. And the few leads I got from my website, which I spent $3,000 on, that took 4 months, that I had no idea what I was writing about. I had no idea even who I was as a coach. The few leads that did come through weren't good leads. They were actually a waste of my time. So I know for me, I wanted to feel professional and legit. And the website I thought was going to make me feel that way. And that's why most of us do that. And it's okay if you're already working on your website, have if you really feel like you need it to connect, then just have a landing page with very minimal stuff about just a little bit about you and who you help, who you think you're going to help, with your email, And that's it. So that you have an online business card. That's all that it's going to be for you at this stage. Mm-hmm. I want to go back to one other thing about inviting, because I feel like I could save you guys hundreds of hours and make you a lot of money by this one tip about connecting. And I'm going to give you two, and this is an online connecting. Okay, this is one version of connecting. You see somebody on Facebook or Instagram talking about something they're going through, and you go, and your nurse coach brain goes, this is it. This is my opportunity. I can reach out to them and I can invite them into a coaching call. And you're so excited because it's like you see the opening and you know it's perfect. And then you type a message, and the message is 5 paragraphs long. And it's like, hey, so-and-so, I'm so excited to see you again. It's been so long since we've talked. I don't know if you'd be interested at all, but I see that you're struggling. And I don't know if you know, but I'm a board certified nurse coach. Nurse coaches help people, blah, blah, blah. And at the very end, so if you ever want to spend time together or want to call, just let me know. I'm always around. I'm available anytime, period. You send it, you don't get a response back. Okay. That's a very indirect invitation. A better option would be to keep it super short, super direct, and super concise, and don't make it about you. They don't care about your cert. They don't care if you're a nurse. The only thing their brain will care about is, can you help them? Say, hey, so-and-so, I see that you're struggling. I actually offer free coaching calls to people in my community, and I'm really guided to offer you one. No strings attached. I won't try to sell you anything. I would just love to spend an hour with you and hold some space. Do you have any time this week? So let them say, I don't have time this week. Ask them point blank, make it be direct. So they have to say yes or no, or give you a time. Don't make it about you. Don't make it huge. Don't over explain, and don't keep it murky. You want it to be very direct so they can say, no, I'm not interested, or yes, I'd love that. Can we meet on Thursday? Probably the most important part of this entire call is what I just said.
Yeah. It's a good point. We have a tendency to over explain and to try to explain our value. And again, y'all, we so care about your board certification because we also value it, but 99.9% of the population won't even ask. It won't mean anything to them. They just want to know if you can help them.
Yeah.
So if you go to send a message today or tomorrow, see if you can keep it to 2 sentences or less. That's the goal. 2 very, very short sentences.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for adding that, Laura. That's important. Okay. Switching gears here on other things that you should not be doing. Focusing. We see people focus too much on their niche. Like, I don't know who I want to work with. I don't know. And so then it just causes you to stay stuck. You never do anything to figure it out. You don't know how to figure it out. And there are specialists out there that help you hone in on your niche. But to be honest, if you haven't coached at least 20 hours, you're not going to have enough information to have any clarity around this. I did not have a niche when I started, and it did not stop me. I was just going to coach anybody who said yes. One of my favorite stories about Laura is that, like, she was at the gym and her coach was like, you have to, I don't know, connect or invite with 100 people. And you were in the sauna, just inviting people at random into a coaching conversation. Just
no one's on their phone.
Yeah. Like, hey, my name's Laura. Do you want to have a coaching call with me? Just like, you're going to do some weird stuff in the beginning, team. It's all good. It's a rite of passage. But the niche thing, you just have to know enough, just the bare minimum of when you talk to someone and they tell you their problem that they're trying to work on, can you help them with that? Usually the answer is yes. That is your niche in the beginning if you don't know yet. You also do not need more classes or certifications. You have enough, especially if you've been through the collective, you have enough under your belt to get started. There will be a time and place as nurses. And I think particularly nurse coaches, we're education junkies. We love the next thing. We love to learn. Nothing wrong with that. But if you are not putting it into practice, then you aren't doing anything with it. No one is being helped with that information. So just put a pause. If you are serious about starting your practice, put a pause on the more certs until just a few months down the line.
Can I tell a funny story about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've seen this over and over again. So people, they graduate, they say they want to start a private practice. They join one of our programs. We tell them exactly what we're telling you in a little more depth, a little bit more support. And basically you're going to all leave, you're going, shit, I have to talk to strangers and invite them into conversations. That's literally what your job is. That's the most important thing that you can do from this point forward. And if that makes your brain really uncomfortable, guess what your brain's going to do? You know, it would be easier, Laura? Spend $80,000 and become a nurse practitioner, because then you'll be more confident. I've had nurse coaches to become nurse practitioners, go to a different certification to postpone this. And not that education is not important, but watch what your brain does, because if the idea of this makes you really, really uncomfortable, I promise you, I coach nurse practitioners all the time, no different. There's no more confidence. It's the same leap that you have to make. It doesn't matter how many letters you have next to your name. It doesn't matter how many, you went to the life coach school, you went to this school, you went to the functional medicine school, you're a Reiki practitioner, you do healing touch, all the things, you're going to come right up to this point you are right now. And so the sooner you can leap, you can always add more modalities if you desire more modalities, but it's this leap and this decision to be uncomfortable. It's the most important thing. So just watch your brain. Your brain will be super sneaky. We're really good. Shelby and I are like mind ninjas around this kind of resistance because we've done it for so long. But just be aware of the certs, of suddenly wanting to do more certs.
Yeah. And then I also feel like the first time you post about being a coach, all of your Facebook ads become a thing of like, ooh, here's a new shiny distraction. Y'all be dialed in, put your blinders on, focus in on the original goal here.
Yeah.
Also kind of in that same vein is don't spy on other coaches. Don't go sign up for a bunch of email lists and try to get everybody's 5-step plan, because it's just going to make you feel like an imposter. It's going to make you feel like you're not put together enough, that you don't know enough, that you can't get started. And it's going to honestly clog up your email inbox, which personally drives me insane. So do your best and be intentional about the information you allow into your sphere. Is that person that you're signing up for the email list, do they have something that you want to create? Because if not, then you don't need it. You don't need that information, right? Yeah, Laura, do you want to talk about this with the not being authentic and trying to be professional?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorites. So I don't know about you guys, but I remember graduating and I'm like, shit, what does a nurse coach wear? How does a nurse coach talk? How does a nurse coach type? And like this idea that I had to be professional and then like rethink how I talked and what I said is at my elevator pitch. And it's like that, it's the absolute opposite of what we would want you to do. What I want you to ask is, who am I? Like, what are the most painful things I've ever experienced in my life? What do I have to offer the world? Like really tapping into who you are, what your soul's purpose is. Like this is deep inner work. It is not out there. You don't have to look for examples of how to be professional. If you're going to do online connecting, usually people will start out with such a vanilla brand, such a vanilla version of themselves. It's posting green smoothie shake recipes and saying, I hope you have a great day, or posting inspirational, content. And that's great, but that's noise. Everybody does that. What you need to tap into is what makes you unique. Let your freak flag fly. If you have some controversial beliefs, own them. Because the more you are, the more of a magnet you're going to be in the online space. The more that you are willing to be vulnerable and visible, the better your connecting is going to go. And so your professional is going to be super unique to you. I'm super passionate about this. I can't tell you how liberating it is to find your voice and just decide to be yourself. And in business, it's the secret. That is the secret sauce. And so Shelby and I even saw someone ask me, Laura, can you just put what you said into writing when reaching out to someone? No. I want you to put into writing what you say when you reach out to someone. Of course, we can give you some stuff to start with. So you have like some frame to start with, but eventually I want your voice to come through, not my voice. And so being authentic is more important than being professional, and which is different than we see in the medical world. There's lots of differences here that you see in the medical world. You don't see doctors posting about what they're struggling with to promote their businesses, right? So that's just not the world. If you're going to promote online, we have to do it different than the conventional medicine does it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a pretty big mind swap to step into, right?
Yeah.
So be patient with yourself. Notice where some old habits are dying hard of needing to show up in a certain way. The feedback that Laura and I get every day is that people are attracted to us because we are ourselves, because we make nurse coaching feel real and achievable. And that is not something that I can bottle up in a Facebook post, right? That is something that is created through Laura and I just showing up exactly how we are all the time. And it's more sustainable, right? There's not a facade that you have to keep up with or just a mask that you have to hold up all the time. It's much more sustainable when you just get to be you. And one last thing on authenticity, it is not a luxury. It is a complete, like, basic human need. That is likely why most of you are here, is because being in traditional healthcare does not allow you to be you. And that is why nurse coaching is so appealing, because you get to be you and you get to help the world the way you want to help the world. It's huge, but it is, being authentic is not a luxury. It's not something other people get to have and you don't.
Yeah. And you'll make a lot more money the faster that you can settle into that,
Mm-hmm.
by the way. Yeah.
Totally. All right. We got 2 more points here. Don't spend your time suffering from unnecessary imposter syndrome. This is such a thing. This is a thing. This is a thing I felt. This is a thing Laura's felt. Again, this kind of is in the same vein of authenticity. I want to offer just a little perspective here. If you are feeling imposter syndrome, it is likely you are already doing the thing you are afraid of. And it is your brain sending out alarms, being like, this is new. I don't know this person. This is just a new arena, and it's trying to pull you back into what you know. This is your ego trying to protect you. This is a normal brain function. But if you are feeling imposter syndrome, if you're feeling like you don't know what you're doing, like you're faking it till you're making it, you're already doing it. You're already doing it. So give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
And this is like these last 2 are really, our last 2 points here are really why you hire a coach, right? Because imposter syndrome can stop you in your tracks. And then also our last little bit here is about money. Laura, do you want to take this one?
Yes. So money can be incremental versus exponential. And up until this point, as employees, we've only ever made money incrementally, right? So we work a certain amount of hours, we get paid a certain amount per hour, and that is what we get paid. That is the world that unless you guys have ran businesses before, it is the employee versus entrepreneur mindset. That's how we've always seen money. You save it, maybe you invest a little bit, but it's pretty predictable what your money picture is going to be. In the coaching world, it is exponential, period. You will no longer be paid per hour. Nurse coaching is not something that you get paid per hour. This is a career that you can 10x your income in 4 years. That's what's so cool about it. It's what's so cool about it. But your brain's going to do all sorts of things to sabotage this. We have to definitely dive into your money story. How did your parents talk about money when you were a child? There's so much inner work to do around money when you're starting a business. And your brain will continually seek comfort and use money as reasons you shouldn't or should do something. Let me give you one example. This comes up in our Facebook group. I live in the Midwest in a small town, and people pay $45 an hour for a massage. So I can't charge more than $45 an hour as a nurse coach, because that's not what the going rate is. That's complete bullshit. It's just not true. And we have proof that that's not true, because it's not the same thing. So it'll show up in a lot of sneaky ways. This is why we think it's necessary to have a coach to just work some of this out. Just work yourselves through some of these money weeds. A lot of the things that we do will be easier after you coached 10 to 15 people. So just letting money not be a thing until you've coached 10 or 15 people. After you've coached 10 or 15 people, we can really dive into money. I feel like I kind of went all over the place on that one, because I could literally talk 2 hours about money. I love talking about money and money consciousness and money stories. But we know that money is a huge thing that you're going to pay attention to, you're going to lean into, you're going to have to explore about yourself to be able to do this business successfully.
Yeah, it's a really big topic. And again, high level perspective here. If you just got sweaty listening to Laura talk, like that's a sign to dig in a little deeper there and explore that a little bit more. And also our final kind of point here is first, who is like actually wanting to start a private practice in some capacity? Like, is that the dream for most people here? Yeah, Roman, cool. I see you nodding your head. Yeah. Okay, cool. So hear me when I say this. You have to hire a coach. Period. End of story. You must hire a coach. And also, if you're here on this call, you should likely hire us in some capacity. But here's our pitch for why you should hire a coach. Is there is just no way around not investing in your business to make this happen. So you invest in the Zoom account, you get the LLC, you do all of like the practical logistical things to set things up. Also, you have to invest in yourself because you are your biggest business asset. Period. End of story. If you are not investing in coaching and then asking people to invest in coaching, it's weird. It's weird energetically. You feel weird about it. Therefore, your client's going to feel weird about it. A lot of you have already invested in like phase 1 of your journey by getting certified. And that is a big investment, big place to start. But not everybody wants to go into private practice with nurse coaching. This is like our own little sector here of nurse coaches. And like my first year of business, I spent about 12 grand in my own coach. The second year it was 20. Since then, like Laura and I combined, we're over 100 at this point for what we've invested into ourselves, what we've invested into our business. And it's really easy to look at that number and be like, ooh, why would you do that when you could just pocket it? But I knew all of the other income wouldn't come had I not invested that money. I wouldn't have the skill. I wouldn't have done my own inner work. I wouldn't have done any of that stuff had I not had my own coach. And the mental spaghetti in the beginning of this entrepreneur journey is thick. It is thick. It is hard, albeit impossible to untangle by yourself. I just had a call with a nurse coach right before we got on here. And she was being very honest with me, saying that if she does not hire a coach, she knows she's going to quit because this is really hard. She's been going at it alone for a while, and things are, she got a few paid clients by herself, which is really impressive, but things have grinded to a halt. And she's like, I know that if I don't get pushed off the cliff, I'm going to settle. And I really don't want to settle. And that is the choice that you have to make as a coach, is not if you're going to hire a coach, but when. Do you want to hire one now and choose the path of least resistance, knowing it's still going to be bumpy and challenging? Or you can message us in 6 months and say, dude, I wish we would have talked sooner, because now I have to dig myself out of a little bit of a hole. Yeah. Anything to add there, Laura?
Oh, yes. Because I DIY'd it. I DIY'd it because I didn't have a lot of money. I had quit my job. And I figured I was pretty smart. Like, I'm a smart person. I could figure this out on my own. I had hired a nurse coach, like a personal nurse coach, when I was in the collective. I thought that was enough, but I didn't hire a business coach. And I learned to be a coach from my first professional coach. Mm-hmm. We learn through emulation, right? Like, we learn, even just, I'm listening to Shelby, like, some of these terms, and I know you guys feel the same way because you tell me this, you're like, mental spaghetti and untangling and all these like terms, these like coachy terms that are so scrumptious and just describe exactly what I'm thinking. That's a skill, right? Our words are actually the tool that we use in this business. And being in a coaching container with a higher level coach, we learn from them, we emulate them. And so when we have a client that's sitting in front of us that's up against a wall, we can't break through, we just channel our coach. Like, what would Shelby say? Like, if I was channeling my inner Shelby, what would Shelby say to this client right in this moment? And that's where you pull from when you're working with your first 10, 15, 20 clients. That's why mentorship is so important, because your coach, your first business coach, your first high-level professional coach is going to be not only your coach, which is helping you with your beliefs, but it's your mentor. It's someone who's doing what you want to do that you can emulate until you figure out exactly who you are as a coach. Every coach I've hired, I've taken some of their magic and made it my own. And I'll never stop. Like, I'll continue to do that, and with different people, different styles, different modalities to bring in. And that makes me, my own asset of my business, so much more valuable to my clients. I have no problem charging $20,000 for coaching. Like, I can say it, my heart doesn't even pitter patter, because I know if someone spends $20,000 with me, their fucking life's going to change. And that doesn't come from not being coached. It came from years of being coached and believing in the process. Sorry about the F-bomb. I can't seem to get through anything without one F-bomb. So we're here to tell you, we used to say it doesn't have to be us. It just has to be someone. I think we're at the point now, we have the data, we have the spreadsheets, we have the actual history to say hiring us would be a good idea as well. We can really say that. And we've really crafted our programs for this population, not for non-nurses. But even if it's not us, then we would refer you. I mean, that is the most important thing you can do at this stage, is hire someone.
Totally. Yeah, we are good at what we do. And we also have the awareness that we are not for everybody. And we have a really amazing referral network as well. Who you do not need to hire right now, though, is a marketing strategist, a business strategist, an online marketing guru. You do not need to build a funnel or pay a single penny in advertising. No. That is not the next move here, team. The next move is hiring a coach to work on you. Okay. You are the biggest investment right now. And also just something to keep in mind, like, we are trained holistically. So it is important for us as nurse coaches to also find a holistic business coach, meaning we are business focused, but we also hold space for all the other areas of your life, your relationships, your journey through motherhood, or your own health. Like, because we are nurses, we have a lot of tools and resources. And again, if we are not your coach, if this is not the route you want to go, that is okay. But finding a holistic minded coach can be tough. So have really high standards when you are searching for, when you're interviewing. Yeah. And the last bit here, team, that we want to mention is that no amount of strategy is going to trump your mindset. Your mindset is 80% of the game here. That gathering and going and Googling and acquiring information and getting on email lists puts you into information overload, and it does nothing to help you actually integrate the information on those emails into your system and be able to shift your being. And mindset is so much of the work that we do with our clients.
And just to shamelessly plug, we're going to do a 2-hour workshop on this next month on June 15th. I'll be posting it probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks. This workshop will be open to our non-clients. It'll be free for all of our paid clients. That goes 2 hours into why strategy doesn't matter if you don't have the mindset to support the strategy. And just to make this real for you guys, if strategy was all that it took to be successful in anything, we'd all be billionaires. Because then a billionaire that we know could have written a manual with a checklist, and then we would just buy the checklist and we would do what he or she did, and then we would be rich. But it's not that. It's not that simple. It's who we're being. It's what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about the world, what we believe is possible. It is so much more mind than it is information. And so when you're trying to DIY it, you're at an 80% disadvantage, truly.
Yeah. All right, my friends. That being said, we want to tell you our 2 programs that we offer. This is our last pitch here, and then we're going to open up the floor. So we have 2 ways to work with us, 2 ways to tap into working on your mindset, 2 ways to be in our circle. The first one is called the preceptorship. This is if you got off the call today and you wanted to be in a coaching community, you could start like this evening if you wanted to. This is this preceptorship program is a year long. It's for an extended period of time on purpose. We find that the first year of business is the most turbulent. So we like to hold space for you for the entirety of that first year. It's a great place to start, to learn the basics on how to create clients, how to set up your business, everything we talked about today. We have a whole course that goes into way more detail of all of the nuances. You get to see Laura and I on camera for a couple of hours while we lead you through some trainings. But it is a course-based program. It is completely self-paced, and we have 2 weekly calls every single week with one of the lead preceptors. So that's me or Laura, or we have 2 other lead coaches, Cindy Samatinger and Amy Owen, who are also 2 badass coaches that we have on our team. So there will be 2 chances every single week to drop in for an hour live to get your questions answered and to get the support that you need. You get access to the course part forever, but you only get access to the calls for the year. We created this space because we so deeply wanted a spot for nurse coaches to get good information on how to create an authentic coaching practice without like salesy, gimmicky, MLM-y, sales-based techniques. We find that if our coaches, the nurse coaches, go outside of our community, that's what they get. And so we wanted to have a spot for people to tap in and get the correct information that feels good.
Yeah. Yeah, and the preceptorship for a lot of our clients can be the first place that people start. And then the next program we'll talk about is our mentorship program. And the way that you can kind of distinguish the 2 programs, the preceptorship is for people who are working full-time, who really, they want to get a few clients, make this a side business, make a slow transition, maybe into private practice. Maybe you're working so many hours that you only have 4, 6, 8 hours a week to dedicate to your business. This is really for you. The preceptorship is for you. We do find that preceptors will stay in that space. They'll make a little bit of money and they'll reinvest into our mentorship. And the mentorship is also a year-long program. This is where you go if you're all in. Okay, this is the program that you go when you're ready. If you know for sure you want to be in private practice, if you know for sure that you want to go part-time, you want to go per diem yesterday, this is the program that would be best for you. Preceptorships always open enrollment. So you can literally send us an email within 24 hours, you're in the group and you can sign up, you can be aware for the next call. Mentorship is application only. We don't accept everybody and it's small group for a year. So in the mentorship, you get everything in that the preceptorship offers, the course, the community calls, all of that space. But then you also get a small group of 8 and you're with the same 8 nurses for the entire year. Your group of 8 will meet 3 weeks on, 1 week off throughout the year for 2 to 2.5 hours. So you will be coached for 10 to 15 minutes every single week that we meet. We also do peer coaching. We do workshops. We do all sorts of really creative things to support our mentees. And then you also get a 4-night retreat, all paid for. You just got to fly yourself to the location. So you get to meet all your Zoom people in person and be with them for 4 days. That is part of that program. The investment right now is $15,000 for the year-long container. I do not know if that will be the same price next year. That is our 2022 price. So we have $5,000 for the preceptorship or $15,000 for the mentorship. And we give our preceptors 60 days to change their mind and upgrade without penalizing or making them pay more as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a few questions we got here about these 2. Barbara, the preceptorship right now has about 30 nurse coaches in it. On the weekly calls, depending on who can come live, it's usually between 12 and 20-ish who get to come on the call live. And Carol, the preceptorship, so both of these programs are only mostly for people who want to purely do private practice. Our spaces are designed to support those nurse coaches with that particular vision. We don't cover in those programs like how to be a nurse coach under any sort of like corporate umbrella. That's not our zone of genius. This is for, we do cover how to like connect with local practitioners and do referrals that way. But like if you are looking to go the more corporate route or be an employee, that is totally okay and totally needed. But I just want to be super clear that is not our zone.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Questions. If you have a question, team, go ahead and pop it in the chat. For me, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. I appreciate you all chiming in. Let's do some easy ones. Is it easy to change from a sole prop to an LLC? Yes, super easy. Almost no paperwork at all. If you already have an LLC for some stuff, Vivian, you can, I would assume you can roll it all into one. I don't see why not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see some other shaking heads. PayPal is not HIPAA compliant. So we do not recommend PayPal for you to accept payments. But when you say that we are more in the coaching business than in the nursing business, is this something we need to think about when getting business insurance coverage? Most of our, yeah, I don't know. No.
Most coaches don't have insurance. So most non-nurse coaches do not have coaching insurance or business insurance. I recommend keeping your NSO, your liability insurance. And then when you start making more money, you can upgrade to their business. Like I think we pay $400 or $500 a year, Shelby, each for our business insurance, because we have an S corp, we have a larger corporation, we have team members. But my first 2 years, I just used my $100 NSO insurance to cover me. And then I've really explored this with life coaches and business coaches and executive coaches, and they just don't have to jump through those hoops. So I recommend keeping your NSO as your insurance, and that's really all that you need. I do not believe that you need more. I would update you if I thought differently, if we heard of any problems or any issues, but I really think that it's enough. Right now.
Totally. All right. Tara asks, do you have a prospect fill out a consent and pre-coaching questionnaire before a call? I don't bother with consents if they're not a paid client. I do have a pre-coaching questionnaire, and I've done both to where I don't, and I do. I kind of prefer having a pre-coaching questionnaire just to get a little heads up before our call with someone new. But you don't have to send out consents beforehand. And if someone, okay, so Claudia has a good question. If someone wants your information and you don't have a business card, what do you do?
You can program all your business information into your phone and share your contacts. That's actually, business cards are kind of getting, I have this thing on the back of my phone called a dot that you can literally just tap a phone and send your contact information to them. If you want business cards, you can spend like $50 and have them. They're very low converting tool. Like dropping off business cards to local businesses has like a 0 conversion rate for most people. It's just not a really effective way. Again, you're still going to have to connect and invite. If you connect and invite and give someone a business card, awesome. But it's just not that important. It's not that big of a tool. I think it's more of a tool for us feeling like we're professional and like seeing our name on a card, which that's fine too. Pay $50 for that mindset shift. I think that's more important.
Claudia asked, we offer 2 sessions. Is it 2-hour first session, 1-hour second session? So if you want it to be, Claudia, it totally can. A lot of our coaches do an hour first and an hour second call. Some do a 90-minute first call and a 45-minute follow-up. This is totally trial and error on your end on what you feel like you need to have a powerful experience. But if you put 2 hours on the calendar, you can always say, hey, I have 2 hours blocked out. We may not use all of it, but do you have the next 2 hours to go all in? And you can make it a little looser that way too. But a lot of our clients really hate 2 hours as the first call. So, there's no official rules here. Tara asked, do you need to hire a coach even if you're in the mentorship?
No, we are your coach in the mentorship. So the preceptorship, you're going to have support, but you do not have a coach. If you do not show up to preceptorship calls, your coach isn't, I'm not going to message you in your inbox like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? You're just not going to have that high level of surveillance and support. It's more of a DIY environment. You have community, we have a private Facebook group, it's awesome. But people in the mentorship, like all my mentees cry on our first call. Just that's the kind of space that I hold. If you are going through really tough life stuff, we might co-create an agreement that for that next month or 2 months that you show up on your mentorship calls, we don't talk about your business. Like, right? Like it might just be life coaching. If you have a health crisis, this is how I built my first business, was really advanced health coaching. I might be like, let's do a one-on-one. It's not part of our contract. Meet me for a one-on-one. Let me do like a naturopathic intake and let's see if we can get your health supported, because that's the next most important thing. It's not how many powerful conversations did you book this week. So you do not need an additional coach in the mentorship. Your lead coach, Shelby, me, Cindy, Amy, we will deeply know you. We will be your coach in that space.
Yes, agreed. All right. Amy asked, when do the programs start? So the program or preceptorship, anytime. You can jump in today or tomorrow if you would like. The mentorship, our next group start will probably be August. If not a little,
if not
July.
Earlier. Yeah, probably the end of July.
Yeah, if not sooner. So if you are interested in the mentorship, we're going to give you a way to get in to apply, because those groups do fill out about 8 to 12 weeks in advance. So we're shooting for July, August for our next kickoff there.
And when you join the mentorship, say that one of you today says, Laura, I know I want to do the mentorship. Let's book an application call. We'll do our application call. I just signed an amazing new client yesterday. I think she's on this call. I'm super excited that she's here. I just signed her yesterday. She's already in the preceptorship. So now she gets to be in the preceptorship while we wait for her small group to start. So this particular client will end up getting 15 months of coaching for the 15,000, because we don't make you wait. We get you plugged in and we get you supported until your small group starts. And when your small group starts, that's primarily where you're going to show up for your support.
Yes. So, and to echo that, if within 60 days, Donna, so if you get in the preceptorship and you get in there and you're like, I want more support, your investment in the preceptorship will credit your mentorship investment. If it is outside of 60 days, then the price stays the same. To get into the mentorship, it is $15K. Where could you find examples of contracts? Like anywhere on the internet, Tori? I know that's a really big answer, but also we have some contracts inside of our course for our clients. And also there are lawyers out there specifically that write a la carte contracts for coaches. Yeah. So again, Rocket Lawyer, or I used one called Destination Legal. She was really awesome. So there's a lot of options out there.
Yeah.
Margaret, I have a PC in California that my accountant said I can roll into. I don't know what a PC is.
I don't either.
Margaret, are you still here?
Nope, she had to run.
Okay.
No, she had to run. I don't know what that is, but that's great.
Whitney. Okay, Whitney, my friend. You are in the right spot. I don't know where you are on my screen at the moment, or if you are still here, but Whitney says it's been a while since she's been coaching. Whitney is in our mentorship, and it feels like it's being harder to gain her momentum back. This is a completely valid feeling. I'm going to help you, my friend. It's only going to feel harder. It's not actually going to be harder. I promise. All right.
That's like a really common feeling of feeling like your behinds are not going fast enough. And that's a lot of the support that we give you guys, because the more pressure that you put on yourself, the slower you go. So it's that fine line between intending to make progress, or like putting that I should be going faster. I should have more clients. I should have made money by now. I shouldn't have waited. Like all those shoulds will load you down so damn heavy that you just won't move. And so again, Whitney, I'm so glad you're in Shelby's container. We'll take good care of you. And it's a really common feeling to feel like I'm too far behind. It's going to be really hard, but we've got you.
Totally. Barbara asked, how do we know who the lead coach will be? Barbara, it's completely based off of time. So if you're more curious about that, we can get on a call.
Yeah.
Vivian, we do offer payment plans. If you need that information, again, schedule a call with us. Be happy to get you that info. We start mentorships this at capacity, essentially. Like that's how we dictate when we start. So our next mentorships are going to roll out late summer, early fall, and then that will probably be it for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So if you're even just a wisp of interested, have a chat with us, get the information that you need to make the right decision. Margaret said a
escort.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
An escort. Yep.
Yeah.
Tori asked about Stripe. Stripe is not a business account. Correct. It is something that the client uses to pay you. Yes. Does a client have to download the Stripe app or something? No. It sends them a link, a pretty link in their email, and they pay via credit card. Stripe and Square are like credit card processing companies. They're the third party that runs people's card for you.
Yeah, you'll get like a little white thing that plugs into your phone where you can actually run credit cards if you have an in-person office. That's part of it. So it's just a way for people to pay you by credit card. And the fees, I haven't looked at them lately. We pay a lot in fees. You're always welcome to send us a check. We will gladly accept it and not get charged the 2.5%, 3%. Some coaches will have you pay, like we don't do this, but if say that your price was 5,000, if people pay you cash, it's 5,000. If they pay you with a credit card, it's 5,200 or 5,300, because it is a percentage of your profit and of your income will go to Stripe or Square. It's not a free service.
Yeah. And also these are tax write-offs too. You can write off credit card fees as well on your taxes. So there's ways to win. You can start the preceptorship if you have not graduated. Yes, you can. Totally can. So if you're interested, again, well, I'm going to give you a way to contact us here in just a second. Mary, don't worry. I'm going to send you all a link with the business basics checklist. You will find it. It's also going to be on our website.
I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to do this right now. Yeah. Keep talking if anyone has questions, but I'm going to post this right now. If
anyone has any last minute questions here, we are here for you. No question is too big, too silly, too small. They're all important. So I can't believe we came in under time. That's actually kind of crazy to me. We never come in under time. So are you in a place where I can call on you for a second?
Yep.
Okay. So, is a recent collective grad as of like literally 2 days ago. And so you hired a coach while you were in the collective. That was not me or Laura. And can you share about your experience and success? Is that okay?
Yes. So I got so excited. I kept saying hell yes to everything. So I actually paid $18,000 for a business coach that's not a nurse. And so I made a bad mistake. Love what they're doing. But the thing is it's all about Facebook funnel. Like I noticed like the more I learn into that, and they have like 6, 7 also employees that work. They're all great. They do mindset coaching. They have it all set up where I get to experience, like they have like expensive copywriters that help you to create these funnels. But and if you like that, that's great. But I noticed, like, I think for us, like as you're talking about, it's sometimes like you sign up for things and you realize it's not what your heart is desiring, right? And so I'm still learning a lot. I was able to build because there's additional component that I'm really enjoying, kind of like what you, Shelby, and what Laura, you guys are talking about. So I'm still like picking and choosing what I'm preferring. That is my authentic side. Yeah. And that's the reason why I'm here in this call. Even if I have a business coach, I'm like, Shelby, sign me up. I'm going to be here because I just think that there's just something so special about getting mentored by nurses. So I just wanted to share that. So right now I currently have 6 paying clients, and I could
Yay.
not, thank you, I could not have done it on my own if I did not have a business coach. And so
Yeah.
I would highly recommend to other people who are here, definitely do your homework. Don't make a mistake I did. It is a huge investment. I'm still enjoying it, but for me, I'm starting to realize more and more I like the whole organic, one connection at a time, and building up my clients that way.
Yeah. Thank
And-
you for sharing so much.
Yeah. And the cool part is, for what you paid for and what you're learning, that this might help you in year 2 or 3. Like, this is what they're teaching you is what coaches normally start getting into at year 2, 3, or 4, where you know who you are as a coach, you know what your niche is, you know, you've already done so much organic connecting that you know exactly how to create funnels. And then you get enrollment calls and you convert them because you know how to sell, because you've done so many sales. So I feel like it's sometimes in some of these programs, they just put the cart before the horse. And I don't think your 18,000 will not serve you. I think everything you're learning will be applied. Maybe it'll just be applied a little further down the line.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think huge thing right now is that it's just too much. Like, I have that fear that if I create this Facebook funnel, which is again additional price you have to pay,
Yeah.
you got to pay, you got to be mentally prepared for that, which I didn't consider. And so I'm just thinking like it's too much. Like, I just want to be a person who wants to know what my grow and not even know what my niche is yet. But they're telling me I have to know that right now.
Yeah.
And
Because
so my
to build the
brain,
funnel, you do.
You
To build the funnel,
do.
you do.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. And
Yes.
so I'm having little hiccups, but I know there are people, don't get me wrong, there are people who are clients right now in that other side, in that world, that are doing fabulous things. I mean, they're making like $50,000-$100,000 a month, some of them, which empowers me that I can be that person too. But I think it's important that so then there's not that imposter syndrome. I mean, you minimize as much as possible, and you're comfortable in your skin. So I'm not comparing to those people who are making that $100,000 a month. And so for me, that's why I'm sticking with my nursing colleagues, because I just feel so comfortable being in this environment.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm so glad you're here. And you'll be one of those coaches making 50, 100K a month. No freaking problem. You got it. You got it.
So's mindset is amazing. It's amazing to
Yeah.
witness. Okay. Some last minute questions here, team. We got some questions about charging. New nurse coaches should at least be charging $1,500 for a 12-week package. If that number makes you nauseous, this is why you need a coach. Said with a lot of love. We start our coaches there. We're close to it. And it is our goal to eventually get them up to like the 3 to 5K range. And your offers will not always be 12 months. There's a lot of creativity, but just as a place to start, 3 months, 10 to 11 sessions, give yourself a break in there somewhere, or even 9 sessions, and start at 1,500.
Yeah.
All right.
Amy, so the best question.
I know. I was like, way to end it. So I feel like I should make a bit of money before investing in a coach. Can you say more about the timing? Do it right away? Wait till I have a few paid clients.
I did what you did. I had a couple paid clients. I was spending money on a bunch of different things, running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And then the minute I hired a business coach, I had a $10,000 month in the next 3 months after. So my question to you, Amy, is how fast do you want to learn to make money? It's just, if you can start with a coach, it's better. Financially, you'll do better. You'll probably have a better year-end P&L if you hire a coach now instead of waiting. And I know that our brains want to save up for a business coach. It's just not how it works. It's because you'll have, every time your client says that they want to try, like say you're a weight loss coach and they say, I just want to try losing weight on my own first. You can't overcome that objection because that's exactly the mindset that you did with your business. So a lot of it when you invest is just your own mindset and your own belief that carries through with your proposals and overcoming objections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And hiring a business coach, it is our not secret goal to help you return your investment.
Yeah, we don't want to take your money and not have you make it back. That is not, we keep a spreadsheet of all our clients' income. We don't want to make money off of you. We want to empower you to make way more than you invest with us. That's our metric of success, one we take very seriously, along with incredible personal growth. So the goal is for us to give us $5,000 or $15,000 to hold your dream for you until you learn how to run it and create it on your own. And we eventually let you go out into the world and do it. It is not our intention to have you spend money on us. We want it to be an investment that you get back. Mm-hmm. And we could share our numbers. We didn't talk about that, but we have proof. So most of our clients make back their investment pretty quickly.
Yeah. And one last question here, Tori, before we wrap up on overcoming objections. What main bullet points would you advise? I actually did a whole YouTube video on this, Tori. So if you go to, this is the Successful Nurse Coach YouTube channel and type in navigating objections, you will see me from like a year and a half ago doing a whole little training on this for like a good 30-40 minutes, going over, if someone says this, then this, or someone says this, then say this. Like I get into the nitty-gritty nuance of it, and that's a totally free resource for you guys. And I don't mean to offset your question there. It's just like a really big answer that will do better justice watching that video. All right, team. My babysitter turns into a pumpkin in 2 minutes. So I have to bounce. I have to go, but I do.
Do you want to put the link?
Oh, yeah. Here.
Okay, I'll do that.
Put the link here. There you go. If you are interested in working with us and you're like on the fence a little bit, like, I don't know, mentorship or preceptorship, which is the best fit for me, we have a quiz. We have a wonderful little quiz you can take to do a little bit of a self-assessment, and we will get notified when you take the quiz, and we can reach out and just better support you in making that decision. Also, if you are thinking this is all awesome information, but I think I might want a one-on-one coach, or I might want something different, reach out to us too, team. We have a lot of amazing nurse coaches in our world that we trust to give you amazing advice, and also be able to support your own personal transformational journey as well.
Yeah. We both had group business coaches, and we find that format is best for most people. However, some people have lots of personal stuff that they really feel like, I need to really work out some deep personal stuff. I don't feel like I want to do that in a group of 8. We have lots of resources for you. Specifically, if you give us a little tiny bit of background, we'll keep it confidential, and we'll make an introduction to you, an amazing nurse coach who has a year, 2-3 years experience to support you. We care a lot about this industry. We really think that nurse coaches are the answer to the healthcare system. We believe that all of you can and should make money and live the life that you want to live. We believe that you should be home on holidays and for birthdays and take vacations and have a healthy bank account and make so much money that you can help people who can't afford you. But the most important thing is that we create a healthy, thriving business, holistic business first for you before we can go out and start really helping the people that can't afford to pay us. And we get to do that through a certain level of success. We get to donate our time and donate our resources to help people. So thank you so much for being here, you guys. And let us know if you need anything. Check out our podcast. We do a lot of cool episodes on there, and we interview some of our clients too.
Yeah. And I will be sending out all of the things later this afternoon. I'm going to upload this video recording. All of the resources are already on our website. If you want to go to the successfulnursecoaches.com, we have a little tab called New Grad Resource. It will be the old recording of this workshop, but I'll update it later today. And yeah, be reaching out with any support. Come find us in our Facebook group, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye, team.
Bye,
Thank you.
Thank you.